craft color cardstock. We're going to use the bamboo stamp image. So I'm going to use the Versamark. Versamark is kind of like it's a watermark stamp pad. Itself, it doesn't have a color, but it's must have for all the stamper. It can create a lot of different effects, and also we can use the Versamark stamp pad for embossing, because embossing is kind of powder, and the Versamark you can use as a glue to let the powder stick. So same thing, I'm going to ink my stamp image here. I always put my stamp on the table and apply ink this way. And I'm going to use the bamboo to stamp all the background. So I don't use the pattern paper. I always use the rubber stamp to build out my own pattern paper. That's much fun. I believe everybody can stamp. Not everybody can paint or draw, but everybody can stamp. This is a very fun hobby. So I stamped 4 or 5 times without do anything. The Versamark is just kind of create like a watermark looking. If you leave it like this, they just look like a watermark. It looks very pretty already, but I'm going to show you how to do the embossing. So I have an embossing powder here. I'm going to sprinkle the embossing on top of my image. So only the bamboo image is going to pick up the powder because they are wet. I'm going to just take the powder away. I'm going to just make it see better. Okay. So after you sprinkle all the embossing powder on top, only the place you stamp with a Versamark, they will grab the ink, so you can put your embossing powder, extra powder back to your container, and then try to finish in 5 minutes. Okay, and then we're going to need a heat gun. The heat gun is not hair dryer. The hair dryer is not going to work because the wind and also it's not hot enough. So we're going to use a heat gun and then to melting the powder. So I'm going, and then be careful, it's kind of hot, so you don't want to burn yourself. So you're going to warm up your heat gun and then point in one direction, and then when the powder is melt, you will see the color start change. I love the embossing. A makeup sponge. I'm going to use a black ink pack. Okay, so I have a black ink pack here, and I have a makeup sponge. I'm going to use the makeup sponge just to give a little bit touch out around the border. Just kind of bringing together. So turning your paper, just give a little touch out. Rub, rub, rub. One direction. One direction. Sometimes around the corner I can add a little bit darker color. There you go. I think that's a pretty nice looking. Okay, and then now we are going to working on the panda bear. Okay, so that's turn this way, different side, you can see better. So the panda bear, I am going to use, you can use a marker, rub, and then tap, tap, tap. just give a nice firm press. That's your Panda Bear. Okay, and this is a preview for our future product. It's a die. So Local King rubber stamp is going to launch our matching die in the summertime. So we are going to have our custom made die to matching our stamps. So that's going to look like this. Okay. And then we are going to just use markers. I have 3 markers. You can use any kind of markers to color your image. So I'm using the Copic markers, or you can use a Marby, you can use watercolor, you can use any kind of markers. So it's very easy. You just color 2 color, 1 light color, and 1 dark color. So I start with the light and then dark, and just kind of blending the 2 colors together. It's just coloring, so we all know how to coloring. Okay, that's it. And then we are going to just mount on the color cardstock our little bear. But before we mounting our little bear on top, we are going to add a little bit background on top. So we are going to use our word stamp. Again, this time I'm going to just use the markers to color my background stamp. Okay, I'm going to put my die here. Rub. So this is just a little piece of paper with our words image, and then I'm going to just mount it together. So put a little bit double-sided tape. If you like, you can put a foam tape under too. See, the Local King rubber stamp custom die, there is also already pre-cut under this part. So make it 3D. Okay, so we can just put 2 foam tape in the back. Mount on top. So you get the pop-out card. And then we are going to just mount the rest of the cards on the color cardstock. So I'm going to mount the first craft. Okay. And I have a piece of ribbon. Okay, I'm going to put it just in the middle. Here. Okay. And then I have a hole punch. So I can just put a little bit embellishment on top. Or you can just push directly with a